The city of Vancouver owes Arturs Silovs an apology. I owe him an apology. Who was I to go out there and say that this guy might be good for, 25-ish games in a regular season, assuming the Canucks go with a 3-goalie setup? Hey, that might actually be the case here. But man, oh man, have we learned today from the Vancouver Canucks' first preseason game of 2024-2025 that if Arturs Silovs needs to play 30, 35, maybe even over 41 games in a season, if he gets that task, I think he's done everything he can to ensure Canucks fans that they can believe in him. Because what a fantastic game was this out of Arturs Silovs. The Vancouver Canucks in their first preseason game have just defeated the Seattle Kraken 3-1. This comes as the Kraken's second loss in the preseason. They haven't won a game just yet. Vancouver, of course, this is their first preseason action so far, and it comes with this dub. 3-1 is the score, and while you might say, oh, 3-1, great, the Canucks played very well. They shut down the opposition. They held the Kraken only to 1 goal. Jaden Schwartz, Brandon Tanev, Brandon Montour, who cares? They only scored 1. No, that's not the narrative you have to go out there and think about this game with. If you had watched the game, you would have seen that the Kraken had so many. I'd say they had like 4.5 grade A legitimate scoring opportunities that if you had these opportunities 100 times, they're probably goals 75 to 80% of the time. Arturs Silovs just went out there and robbed the Kraken on multiple cross-crease attempts, wraps out in front, bobbling pucks that find themselves over to the back door. And look, the Canucks defense, I'm not going to say that they were amazing in this because a lot of those opportunities were straight off of Vancouver turnovers, particularly Elias Pettersson, I think, contributed to 2 of them. And yeah, the preseason exists for a reason, folks. We're not expecting these Canucks players to play their absolute perfect caliber games in this point of the season, but it's good to see that at the very least Arturs Silovs was on top of his game because he needed to make up for a lot of these Vancouver Canucks defender mistakes, and he did that for the most part, only allowing the Kraken to score 1 goal in total. Now, in terms of the entire game, Vancouver included, there were only 4 goals, so we might not have too much runtime talking about the goals that were scored, but I think this is great because it gives us the opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into some of the other names and just kind of who impressed, who didn't, as well as what we can expect maybe into the next few games here as the preseason goes on and as some of these guys try to fight for opportunities on the roster. Actually, you know what? Let's get into everything that happened before the game, before actually talking about the events of what transpired, because opening things up, the Canucks gave a really solemn and heartfelt tribute to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Obviously, the NHL has been taken aback by this story of what happened in New Jersey a few weeks ago, and the Vancouver Canucks did a really good tribute. They had a lot of sentimental moments in their video package, and it was overall very well done. They also had a little ceremony before dropping the puck for National Truth and Reconciliation Day, so it was nice to see them putting a spotlight on that. They also did the songs and the anthems as well, so Vancouver, man, getting back into the spirit of things. Obviously, I think this has now become more or less what we've expected out of the Vancouver Canucks organization, but they did not disappoint in the slightest. Heading into the actual game, though, this is where things started to really get a little bit rowdy, because in the first period, you had Arturs Silovs having to make a few really nice saves off of Vancouver defenseman turnovers. We had said that this happened quite a few times throughout the game, especially in the third period, but the first period, opening things up, hey, it was filled with a lot of Seattle Kraken chances as well. Bad turnovers, bad breakout attempts, Elias Pettersson trying to send the puck up to his guy on the wing, but instead it hits the Seattle guy in front and it leads to a beautiful cross-crease chance that Silovs has to thwart away. I'm sorry, man, but Elias Pettersson, you can't be doing those kinds of plays. He did that twice in this game, I think. Either way, we also had a pretty intimate moment in this first period because Vilmer Alriksson and John Hayden got into a pretty big scrap. Vilmer Alriksson, of course, the big dude, the big prospect, a guy who showed off very well at the Young Stars Classic. He didn't have the best performance in the Canucks blue versus white scrimmage, but in this game, he definitely made himself known physically. With 3 minutes to go in the first period, though, on the power play, you had yourselves the 1-0 goal scored by Vancouver. It's a beautiful play by Connor Garland, who is in the corner, he feeds it back over to the point, Christian Wolanin receives it, and he holds onto the puck for like 2 or 3 seconds longer than you would have anticipated, drawing the Seattle forechecker towards him. That opens up space on the left side, Wolanin goes over to Ratu takes it, walks right in, down to the goal line, Carlson in front for Hoglander, and he scores. Beautiful tic-tac-toe goal. Ratu to Carlson to Hoggy. Of course, Hoglander had all the even strength goals last year, but this year, hey, he's got one in the preseason on the power play. So nice to see him getting a conversion on the man advantage. Ratu and Carlson looked absolutely spectacular on this play. Ratu especially, he had a really good game in general. This is one of those guys that you could tell he's definitely made strides. He looks quicker, he's making better decisions, he's making better reads with and without the puck. Ratu had a great game. The next shift, you saw Sammy Blais almost get himself a goal. It went off of his skate and off the post, but that one stayed out. Second period gets underway, and this is where we start to see more scrambly plays and desperation opportunities from Arturs Silovs. The Kraken were turning the pressure up, but the Canucks did a pretty good job at making things work. And you had yourselves Ratu with some really good handles to relieve the pressure on an extended Seattle Kraken offensive zone shift. However, with 2 minutes to go, like the first goal of the game, it is Vancouver on the power play that is able to convert. You had Filip Hronek, Besser, Lekkerimaki setting up around the perimeter of the umbrella. Normally it'd be Petey, Hughes, and Miller in this spot, but this power play unit had Besser on the right, Lekkerimaki on the left, Hronek at the point, and they were just kind of passing it back and forth between each other. Eventually, it's Hronek who gets the pass from Besser with a one-time power play bomb. He goes far side top cheese and beats the goalie Joey Daccord. What a beautiful shot there by Filip Hronek. It's 2-0 Vancouver. From there, we saw some more extra chances. Garland set up Ratu with a beautiful chance in front, great save by Daccord. And then you had some shenanigans towards the end there. Will Borgen had a late hit on Garland at the end of the period, and everybody came crashing in, including Tyler Meyers. In the third period, the Seattle Kraken scored right away from one Meyers to another. It's Ben Meyers who gets a cross-crease chance, and it ends up going right by Arturs Silovs. It's a 2-1 game, like 7 seconds into the third period. But that's all she wrote in terms of goals until the empty net marker. The third, though, was not without its fair share of physicality. You had Meyers getting involved there, Friedman and Tanev going after each other. Elias Pettersson had another terrible giveaway, which resulted into a beautiful Silovs save, robbing Jaden Schwartz on the cross crease. And then you had the Pius Suter empty net goal, assisted by Jonathan Lekkerimaki with one of the better assists we have seen out of him all year. He has the puck in his own zone, he's being very heavily forechecked, and Lekkerimaki, instead of sending it out, he goes off the boards at like a 75-degree angle, and it bounces perfectly to Pius Suter, who takes it, comes over the red line, and shoots it into the empty net. Lekkerimaki, I felt, had a great game. He was on the power play, they were giving him looks, Hronek was setting him up, Hronek just kept on feeding him the puck, and Lekkerimaki was getting those one-timers on. Plus, he was back-checking and playing really good defense. That's something you don't really expect out of a goal-scoring first primary winger. So, obviously, it was nice to see the versatility in Lekkerimaki's game. He got 2 assists in this one because of it, with the Filip Hronek one-time shot and the Pius Suter empty net goal. He looked really good, and I think if he's able to consistently produce points and be an effective power play threat, if he gets one of those one-timers on the power play to go in, then there might be a legitimate chance that he challenges for a spot in 2024-2025 with the main club. He looked really, really good today. I also do love how Hronek just kept on setting him up and giving him those passes. It kind of reminded me of like 2017-18 Brock Besser, where we were all complaining as Canucks fans that Alex Edler was never passing it to Besser on the power play and would only go to Daniel Sedin on the right side. Like, that was a really big problem in 2017-18, but if Hronek is going to keep on setting up Lekkerimaki like this, then hey, it's not going to be a thing here in 2024-2025. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks defeating the Seattle Kraken in in Game 1 of their preseason. It is a 3-1 victory. Who stood out to you? Who do you think played well? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.